Hello and welcome to another live stream slash we also do it with the podcast for the 2025-2026. The car hype is real. And what we mean by that is all the updates for the new vehicle, especially with Audi, as you saw the thumbnail. So the A5 and the S5 are getting increase in horsepower. We're getting new technology. We're getting new styling. I'm not a huge fan of the steering wheel, and they're kind of going like the BMW and Hyundais and everybody with that one screen configuration, except it's a huge screen, 14.5 inch for the new MMI touchscreen configuration. But then the gauge cluster decreases to 11.9 inches, and they're going to do the same thing. Well, it is the same thing on the Q5 and the SQ5, which they also have increased power. So I'm happy that we got the power increasing. Hey, Ethan, how are you? And the same thing with Audi for the A5 and the S5, which we will be doing some reviews on those in the next probably 10, 15 days or so. We have them lined up with with one of our Audi teams. You're welcome. Also, the new 2026 QX60 has been revealed. Hey, James, how are you? Good to see you as well. The new QX60, there has been some people were like in the comments that were saying, oh, well, I told you there's going to be some updates, major updates. It's not really a major update. The insert of the grille has been changed. It has the piano look for the way it that's the way the grille looks. If you get the sport trim, they're going to add a sport lip to it. And the lighting supposedly has been updated for the front and the rear, but I didn't see much changes. I'm waiting. I did talk to my Infiniti team because we just picked up our new 2025 Infiniti QX60 autograph, and he was under the impression that really it's just the grille and the Google infotainment, and now it's Google based, and they have different colors. So it's not a huge difference in changing there, except the QX65 coupe variant that could have two engine power options. So I'm waiting to see through the grapevine. There isn't anything confirmed yet, but if that's the case, they'll have the VC turbocharged 4 and the V6 engine that we lost in the QX60. Can we see the new Maserati? Yes, I will show you guys that in just a few minutes. We're doing great. How are you doing? I was gonna show you guys the two new cars because we just purchased two cars in basically the same week. Kind of crazy. Nissan also has confirmed that they are working on the new GTR, and that there's actually talks with Nissan and Toyota, not necessarily a merge. I mean, how are you thinking about that one?
Pretty excited. I hope it's not an R35. I hope they make a new one.
Yeah.
It's been out for more
Is
than
Nissan
10
going
years.
to go bankrupt? No, Nissan isn't planning on going bankrupt. The news is that Toyota is talking with Nissan right now to get something underway, which is kind of exciting. They're not really going to be doing any type of merge, but maybe some kind of joint venture, so it kind of helps them with their financial situation. Are you guys going to get a newer car? We did. We bought two brand new cars literally in 1 week.
No, he's talking about you guys getting like another new car.
No, I think that no, for right now, nothing else. We're going to hold off for a little bit on that. Then the other big things is with Honda, they are going more hybrid than EV. So they're going to step back a little bit with the EV market. What color is the Maserati? It is a gray. It's not a base gray. It's an actual premium color. And like I said, we'll get to that as we're kind of wrapping up the news. How's the trunk space?
You can fit a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's pretty small. Not a lot of space. I mean, you could fit maybe a bag in the back. The front, you could fit probably like a PlayStation 5. Toyota also had some big recalls this week, almost 500,000 on the Tundra, but this time it was for lights. So it's not a huge deal, but just something to kind of throw out there. I don't know if I'll get a Urus or not because we have that. The MC20 kind of takes the spot for our supercar right now, and I don't know. I mean, I'm figuring at least 6 months to a year, probably not going to buy anything else because it's a lot to buy at the same time. I'm obsessed with them. They are awesome vehicles. I agree.
Sleeper SUV.
Yeah. I mean, it's a supercar SUV or super SUV, I believe they call it. The RAV4 hybrid, everyone has been talking about it. We didn't get to go to the area where they were doing the revealing of the vehicle, which we're going to start doing that as well, bringing that to the channel. And we also have a new channel called Supercar Throttle, which is going to have a lot of stuff about the MC20 and different supercars and things of that nature. So it's going to have like a spin-off. We're still going to have the review for the MC20 here, but we'll also have other things on that channel. So just stay tuned for that. It's not 100% officially done. We should have it done next week. The Bentley Bentayga, great SUV. I mean, just the services, that's the only thing I would be concerned about. Going back to the RAV4 hybrid, 226 horsepower front-wheel drive or a 236 horsepower all-wheel drive configuration. My thing about it is I am a little disappointed because it came standard as an all-wheel drive configuration. So now we're getting it as a front-wheel all-wheel drive, and I get it, like it's all hybrid, or you could do the PHEV, which gives you 50 full electric range. So you're up 8 miles. That's awesome. But then the design is very similar to the prior. If you put the prior next to it, like picture to picture, you could see where they just kind of changed some of the inserts, and there's still a lot of plastic materials. I was kind of hoping that the RAV4 would change that up a little bit, because I do like the exterior styling. Kind of brings that Crown vibe into the Toyota lineup. And then we're also getting a GR, which is awesome because the GR is going to have the standard PHEV powertrain.
Isn't the DBX also having a new thing with their Apple Intelligence?
Yes, that is. Sorry, my brother keeps texting me. It's driving me nuts. The new Apple interface, which we talked about it briefly with how Apple and Android Auto are trying to configure where your gauge cluster will be configured through your cell phone. Now, Aston Martin is the first one to pilot it, so I'm kind of excited to see how that is, and that's another reason for all these digital gauge readers. Would I ever get a Bentley? I mean, most of my family doesn't like the Bentleys. Maybe an Aston Martin, but a lot of Aston Martin is kind of dealing with AMG, so it's a lot of, if you're going to spend $100,000 premium on the car, you might as well go AMG and just be more, I don't know. What would you say?
I would rather just get a AMG.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah. Back to some other news. Volvo, the XC70. This is going to be crazy. It's the first long-range PHEV. You're going to have over 124 miles, full electric, plus it's still a gas variant. That I think is going to be like groundbreaking because no vehicle does this. It's the most range you could get for a PHEV. It is going to come out in North America. We are losing the S90 and the S60, which is sad because they did some refresh on the lighting and the exterior. But going back to the XC70, that is also going to have the same lighting as the EX90, which is awesome because the Thor LED daytime runnings, they go outside and then they'll come back and the daytime runnings come over it. It's a matrix LED design. I think they're doing a phenomenal job. I'm really excited to see. We did some work with Volvo. I did the new EX90 this past week, and one thing that I was a little bit disappointed with is to turn the vehicle off. It takes like 6-7 steps. I showed in the review. It's just too much going on in the infotainment screen. So I think going to the essence of the PHEVs, that is where Volvo is going to shine. They are kind of popular. It just depends on the region for Volvo. Wait, Anthony, did you review the QX80? Yes, I have a QX80 coming out in a few days. The Maserati seats are a black and red full Alcantara sports seats. And also we're going to have an ES90 sedan, which is a full electric Volvo. That's going to have anywhere from 329 horsepower to 670 horsepower. I think that's going to be pretty crazy, and the range is going to be from like 340s to near 370s. So that is pretty good when you're looking for a full electric vehicle. What trim did you review? The Autograph. Also, some other Volvo news is they are going to be moving most of their most of their high volume hybrid vehicles to the South Carolina plant to offset tariffs that may or may not come. And they are, unfortunately, with the S90 and the S60, we don't receive it in North America, but you're getting the updated screens, the technology, the bumpers, the lighting. So I'm kind of disappointed that we're not going to be receiving that. Yes, I just said that the tariffs have been on pause. They're for 90-day pause, but the tariffs for the parts are not on pause. So there has been a 25% increase on parts. So if you are noticing, little by little, you're starting to see some of the vehicles increase in price, especially in the used car market. I've noticed that here and there. Mercedes is also introducing the steer-by-wire, which is known from Tesla. We might see it first in the EQS sedan, which they are trying to not necessarily go crazy with electric vehicles, but I get it, them doing that with that vehicle, it just kind of makes sense. Can you help me find a Bentley, a 2019 to a 2022 to a 2020? Yes, we can do that. Just like when we helped you look for the Urus, we can kind of do the same thing as well. Used car prices are falling in value, to be honest. It really depends on what vehicle you're talking, because I have noticed that the new cars are like the new ones, meaning that they've got updated. They've already updated the prices on those vehicles, so it is still kind of the time to buy. But I would say in the next month-ish, it's going to not be the time to buy again, because they are trying to adjust the prices. So whether the tariffs go in place or not, the prices are still going to go up. $55,000 in 2026 for Lincoln. Yeah, and another the ES Lexus that has just been revealed. Pricing hasn't went up too much. It's around $47,000 to $55,000. I think that's pretty good for a luxury vehicle. So I'm happy that they're in that segment. But obviously, once they land, it could possibly go to around $62,000 with all the features. I could see that happening around a $8,000 premium. I mean,
Yeah. What do you think about the CS going on almost every trim?
So BMW with the CS, they are pretty much doing it on everything. You got the M2, the M3, the M4. It's just crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if they go into the M5 and M6, M8. It's kind of making it not as desirable.
Exclusive.
Yeah. I mean, now it's like a competition.
Yeah.
There's no point of having something like that.
And are they going to do the CSL now?
LS at this point. ES has massage rear seat on BMW.
I wouldn't say it collapses. I think it really depends on what BMW.
Yeah, I mean, every vehicle that you buy new, you're going to lose 25 to 30%. That's what happens. That's the way the ball game is. And if you buy it at full MSRP, well, then that's your mistake, because you should try to haggle and get a few $1,000s off. Now, with M variants, it is a little bit harder, but they still do it. Some actual real crazy news. Ford, they didn't shut down any plants in the U.S. This is just a big, crazy thing that's been going on to the internet. I just figured I would throw it out there. They are shifting some more production for the new EVs, but they are not shutting down any plants. And for 2026, the F-150 is going to have some updates for the exterior and interior. We do have a Raptor coming on the channel, as well as the Lariat and a Ranger coming as well.
Aren't they having an off-road Mustang?
Yes, for 2026, they're going to have a Ford Mustang Raptor. Pricing is going to be around 90 grand, so I'm thinking it might be about 100 grand, which when you're considering an off-road sports car like
the Sterado.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not many vehicles you can compare it against.
Not only that, but it's also cheaper.
Yeah.
It's like a fraction of the price.
It's either a X5M competition or X6M competition, Cayenne GT, Cayenne Turbo. There's a lot of cars here. That's your choices. So you have an awesome choice of vehicles. That's really kind of tough to, go to one particular vehicle, because you're literally picking every single vehicle as a choice. Each one is going to be unique in its own way. If you're wanting something more executive and more like premium, then obviously you want to go to like the Bentley or the Urus. But with that kind of selection, I mean, I would be happy with the X6, X5 in competition. I think those are awesome vehicles. What's your favorite midsize truck? My favorite midsize truck is between the Ranger and I like the Colorado, but pricing can go a little crazy with the Colorado. With the Ranger, you can actually get somewhat of a deal, so I kind of like that. But personally, I would go to a smaller truck like a Santa Cruz or a Ridgeline, because you have just as much capabilities. I wouldn't really need much more of a truck than those, because you're still getting tons of towing, 5,000 pounds. Payload is over 1,200 pounds, and you have back seats and you have technology. So it ticks the box to everything. Like Chevy Silverado 1500 size. Okay, so that's more of like a full size truck. So if it was a full size truck, I like the Silverados, the interior because they updated it a few years back. I think they kind of nailed it. Um, I would probably go Chevy or GMC because both two of them are awesome. I love cats. I mean I love cars. Oh, okay.
You can take a Urus to an Audi dealership.
I want a fast car. Yeah, you could take a Urus. You could take a Bentley to a Audi dealership also.
It'd be cheaper too
Yeah.
than taking it to Lambo.
Some other updates and some news was Lexus is going to have a supercar. It's going to be electrified. I think what is it called? Electrified Sport EV supercar. It's going to be in the low 2 seconds 0 to 60 with a range of 430 miles. They haven't told us anything for pricing. I can imagine it's going to be pretty crazy. Also, the new Chevrolet Corvette. This is SUV.
Oh,
I think that's going to be kind of interesting because you're going to have a Turbo 4.
I feel like it's going to branch off into its own brand of GM.
Pretty much. And it's also going to have a supercharged 6.2 liter V8.
That's for the most expensive.
Yeah, that's going to probably be well over 100 grand.
The cheaper
But
trims.
I would imagine it looks kind of like a little Urus, so I'm excited to see it when it comes out. I like Bentley. I think they make a great vehicle. It's just when you start thinking about the service of the vehicle, it is very expensive to maintain them, and then you can't really put a lot of miles on these type of vehicles. Even their leases usually stress around 1,000 to 2,500 miles a year. Quality it's better than like an Audi, obviously, or even Porsche, because you're not going to have that much plastic. They actually put magnesium and different metals in the interior, so I appreciate that. But long term, I mean, will they last? I'm sure they will if you service them, but it's going to be expensive to service. Ferrari is also coming out with their SUV that's all electric. It's going to be around $500,000.
Electric version of the Purosangue.
Yeah, I think that's going to be way too expensive because even with the one that they got now, the damn thing's what, 600,000-700,000?
Yeah.
And it came out at like 200,000-300,000, which is like the absolute most expensive SUV. I think the Urus would be a better way or a better choice. Genesis, the GV90 EV, the pricing has kind of been coming through the grapevine, and it's going to be $100,000+. That is crazy. Range isn't bad though, 250 miles. I just think Genesis, they need to do a little bit of stuff to make it feel $100,000+. Now the GV60 Magma, which is off of the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, I think that's going to be freaking awesome. I mean, a Genesis version of the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, that car is a blast as it is. If you had to choose between Navigator, Black Label, and Escalade Platinum, which would you choose? That's a I don't know. I would probably go Escalade because they hold their value a little bit better. I know the Black Labels do hold their value, but it tends to be a little bit more on the Escalade side. They're just a little bit more desirable. Honda Prelude is going to be coming out, and I'm hoping that it's at least 200 plus horsepower because I think that would be awesome. We need something like that to come into play. And then this is the biggest news, I think. Jaguar, they got the I-Type. It's going to have a 430-mile range,
and
but
it's going to be overpriced.
Over $200,000 for an EV.
Nobody's paying that.
I think that's just crazy because now when we go back to EVs, look at Rivian. They got the R2. It's going to be under $50,000 with around 300-mile range. And they're coming out with the, R3X. That's going to be under 40 grand with the same range roughly. So I think that's the way to go if you're thinking full EV. Buy an Escalade, IQ. I like the F-Types.
F-Type
Hey,
is
Tisha.
nice, it's unreliable.
I mean, Jaguar, they're going through a little bit. I mean, like I just said, that I-Type, freaking $200,000+ for an EV.
They need to go back to gas.
Yeah, it's stupid. Porsche is going to have the 718 Boxster and Cayman EV that's coming for 2027. Pricing hasn't been listed yet, but I would imagine you could probably pick one up used, just like the Taycan. You know what I mean? I think that's
all its value instantly.
Porsche EVs, just get them pre-owned. You're going to save a ton of money. 2027, the CX-5 hybrid, which is going to have its own powertrain. So I'm excited for that one because they're not using the Toyota powertrain, even though Toyota has increased a little bit in their performance.
Dodge is killing their electric.
Yeah, Dodge killed their the
Electric
Charger. What was it? The RT EV. It's gone. I love GTS from Porsche. Yeah, Porsche, they make a great vehicle. The Outback is getting updated, which I'm excited for that, but it's not going to look like a wagon. It's going to look like an SUV. So kind of skeptical with it. But, I mean, it looks good. And obviously the Kia Telluride is getting updated because the Hyundai Palisade got full update, and they're going to have the hybrid powertrain to have an option. So I think they got some good things coming into the grapevine there. An SQ8, I like an SQ8. We went right now with the QX60 because of the deal that we have, and it just didn't make sense because we've spent so much money on 2 cars in literally a week. I didn't want to spend too much more.
I would go for the RSQ8 over the SQ8.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in the middle between that because you might as well spend the extra 10, 20,000.
Yeah. And if you're looking to buy,
it holds its value too.
Like the title suggests, right now is still kind of the time to buy. They're doing a lot of deals, especially with interest rates going lower, and they're giving a lot of incentives for lease deals. And because they have 24 variants still available, like Infiniti, if you're looking for the Q50 Red Sport 400, they still have brand new vehicles. MSRP is around 60 grand. I'm sure you could probably get them for about 50,000 or maybe even less. So they still got those and the Lux. That's the only 2 trims that they have in the Q50 still available in the US. The QX55 and QX50 are no longer going to be in the US. They have discontinued it, and the trim and the ones that they have at port, like we said on the live stream last week, they sent them all back. I want a certified one. I mean, like I just said, you may want to look at some 24 variants because they have 24 variants that they kept them at the port because of the tariff scare that went on for like a few days and then the pause. Some of those vehicles did come back or come into the States. That being said, some of them didn't land at a dealership, so they're still sitting at port, and you could get 2024 variants for a huge discount right now, and they have them in pretty much every single company. You just have to ask the dealerships to see if they'll look at, or you can go online and look online and see, but usually you'll have to go to the actual manufacturer to see if they're at port because they're not allocated to any dealership.
Sam's M5 is good. His light went out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for your friend.
His light. He got into an accident.
Yeah.
And he hit the car.
As for the BMW M2 CS, 523 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque, rear-wheel drive. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's stupid that they added a CS for this M2. I feel like it's pointless, especially it being rear-wheel drive instead of all-wheel.
Yeah, I think they need to do the X-Drive. Yeah. Like I said, right now for vehicles, I think we're pretty good. We have a lot of vehicles in our garage. We'll obviously look into other vehicles, but as of right now, we bought 2 cars, like I've stated several times through this live stream. There's no point to buy another one. It just, it gets too overpriced. The M3 CS is going to have 543 horsepower, the same torque as the M2, and you're going to have the same horsepower and torque for the M4 CS, but it's only 20 horsepower more than the M4 competition X-Drive, which I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking pricing, if you're going to be spending $30,000, you know that you can get that same horsepower with the comp. Maybe go to the competition and just be as happy instead of going the other route where you're spending that extra money and you're only getting 20 horsepower more. Yes, they are changing some of the guts in the interior. You get some CS specific specs and the tuning and the suspension, things of that nature. But then
it's just like a comp.
Yeah, I mean, you're just getting things that you could kind of do aftermarket yourself. And it'd be a little bit more comfortable in the competition than the CS. That's just my take on that.
A little bit more gutted out interior.
Yeah.
To reduce weight.
Yeah.
Pretty similar in power.
Pretty much. I heard the BMW will be changing the X5 for 2027. Yes, we discussed it quite a bit the past few live streams, so I didn't really touch bases on it too much. But Sean, you are correct. The X5 is getting a facelift for 2027. There isn't any M variant as of right now. They're just thinking about an M60, which will not have the I because the I is going to be going towards the electric variants in their vehicle lineup. So they'll have their plug-in hybrid, they'll have the M Sport version, and they'll have the regular X5, and the same thing will go for the X6. We're not going to receive an X4 this year. They're discontinuing it, and as you're noticing, the only M variants are going to probably be more in the X5, X6, because I don't think they're going to be putting them on any of the other vehicles. Yes, we have an XB7 for the X7, but it's not an M. And you also have an M Sport variant or the M60i. The same thing when you go down to the X3, they have an M60, but they do not have a full M variant. So it looks like BMW is kind of staying in that realm. Also, the iX will be discontinued very soon, which kind of saddened in a sense about it, but I kind of saw it coming too.
Yeah, it was very quick.
I switched BMW X3 xDrive 30i to X4 M40i last month. Do you think it's worth? Do you think it's worth? I'm assuming it. Yeah, I mean, you got the M40i, so that's a lot more performance than the base model that you had. You did have the xDrive, so you had the all-wheel drive system, but the M40 is a complete different animal. I'm sure you're having a lot of fun with that particular vehicle, and you got the coupe design. I think it's something that will hold its value pretty good, and I'm hoping you got a pretty decent discount because I know in the X4s they tend to give you some money off on them. Even if you go to a true M, that's the only trim that you can actually get a discount in the M lineup for a BMW.
2026 Palisade calligraphy.
Versa Audi Q7 Prestige. Which would you rather buy? I would go to the Audi Q7 Prestige. Deal wise, the Palisade is better and you get a lot of bang for your buck. But when you're comparing a Palisade to an Audi, it's not necessarily in the same class. Audi wouldn't compare against a Hyundai, it would be against the Genesis variant. And the Genesis variant, you're going to be spending similar dough. So I would go Audi because it's just kind of a known vehicle for its luxury and technology is really good. The MMI system is going to have some updates, and they are getting some facelifts on the Q7. So the grille is going to be changed, the lighting, and some of the interior. I'm not a huge fan of what Audi is doing with the steering wheel, especially with the A5, S5, Q5, and SQ5. They're pretty much putting that four-spoke steering wheel. It just looks too electrified for me. The screen configuration I'm okay with because everyone's kind of doing it, at least the center screens in large, but then it's still a little bit smaller than BMW, and then the gauge cluster is even smaller. So I think they hit it on point with the performance because they have increased performance with their vehicles. I just feel like Audi, they need to do a little bit more with some of their line. I feel like the A5, S5, the Q5, and the SQ5, they're right on par where they need to be now. I'm excited to get my hands on them, and I just got word from my Audi dealer that they have some. So we're going to go to one of our teams, not this week, but the week after, and do some reviews with them. We're going to Land Rover, Range Rover this week. So I'm going to see some, hopefully they had some 2026 variants in. So we're going to try to bring those to the channel. And before we close up, I figured we'll show you guys the garage. So that way you guys can see. I know everybody's been wanting to see the new vehicle. And like I said, we have on the new channel, Supercar Throttle. It would be more for the MC20.
You want me to get the keys?
I guess you can get the keys. So I'm just
Which
going to,
ones?
we'll just show them the exteriors. That way they can see it on the channel. So here is the new QX60. We have it all blacked out. I have to get some new center caps because the center caps, they didn't come out the way we wanted them. So we just kind of took them off. Full blacked out. So we're the only ones that have it 100% like this, as well as the rear. Obviously, our Maserati Ghibli, which I'm sure people have saw. And then the MC20 right there it is, which we have the full PPF on the vehicle. So, like I said, just stay tuned for the new channel to come out for Supercar Throttle. That should be out this week. I'll also put some links on this channel so that way you guys can see more of that. We'll have the full review hopefully in the next coming days or so. It's just been raining quite a bit, so it's not optimal weather to take a cello outside, especially we don't really want to get it too dirty. And I just now put over 100 miles, not even 100 miles. I think we put like 80 miles on it. But we're going to close it up for the live stream. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for that. What is it sounds awesome. You have 3-car garage. Yes, we have 3-car garage. Beautiful line. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you, Sean, James, Ethan, everybody that comes out. And check out the memberships. And we'll see you next week on the live stream. Have a great rest of your weekend. See you tomorrow on the next video.